The story I'm about to tell you is one that has had a negative effect on my life. I'm not sure how this will come out. I have never tried writing this memory down before. I'm almost 26 now, and at the time that this took place, I was 18. I'm also female, if that matters. At the time, way back when I was 18, I was fascinated by sculpting and pottery. I managed to find a pottery class in my town, so I would catch the bus back into town, attend the class, and then walk home from there. I was going to this class for about 2 months before the guy who would change everything walked in. He was visibly shy and anxious. So cool, I thought. I also suffered from anxiety, so I thought we already had some common ground. His name was Francis. Francis would never look you in the eye. He would sometimes look from one point to another, just above your head when he was talking to you. When he was listening, he would stare at the floor. He was very intelligent and was very interesting to talk to and had a lot of cool ideas about life. I liked him. He was about 6 foot, dark, and handsome. Long story short, when he told me that we were the same age, I was pretty happy. We started hanging out outside of the pottery class. I even went to his house a couple of times and met his parents and sister. His sister was a lot younger than him. I don't remember how old exactly. His mom was Polish, but spoke excellent English. His dad reminded me of Carlisle Cullen. By the way his look made me shiver. There was a coldness behind his eyes that would eventually phase out and ended up looking like pure hatred. By this point, we had become an item. His parents were delighted and immediately began discussing marriage, and that kind of creeped me out. It wasn't even in a joking manner, like parents sometimes do to embarrass you. They made it sound like I had entered a contract. My first real red flag was how intense Francis became. Only after the first couple of days we became boyfriend and girlfriend. He would handwrite me poems, ranging from 3 to 6 pages in length. And in all honesty, it was some of the best poetry I had ever read. My favorite being, "Dive for Dreams." It turns out he plagiarized that from E. Cummings, word for word. I thought he was joking, or wanted to impress me, but couldn't write himself. So I ignored the compulsive lying regarding his poetry. Then the onslaught of calls and texts began. I would silence my phone during class, and when I checked it at any point in the day, I would have a terrifying number of missed calls, sometimes in the hundreds, not joking, and messages that were so long, I didn't even finish most of them. They were all ramblings of how his love for me surpassed his own will to live. I was his heir and reason, and he would do anything for me. Again, this was only days into our relationship. I should have been seriously put off, right? You fucking think? But this is where I felt sorry for him. I did what you should never do and ignored my gut instinct. He was pretty isolated apart from his own family and me. He had no other friends. I just thought he was attention-starved and it would level out in time. This is where things spiraled out of control. Shortly after my birthday, Francis had settled down with the calls and texts, but I still got quarter-hourly calls, sometimes even during the night. Now, bearing in mind, we hadn't done anything at this point, other than kissing. At the time, I had a really big thing about not feeling ready to go further with him, and I didn't ignore that. We had sent a couple of pictures to each other. Never do this, by the way. It never ends well. And his mom found them. Well, no. To be specific, he showed them to her.